Hey guys, welcome back. We just finished up the last hour tutorial on rigging the character, and I said I was going to take a break and color this guy up a little bit. You guys didn't really need to watch through all of that, so I went ahead and finished the coloring of the drawing assets that we already have, and well, here you go. Obviously, not exactly a finished rig, but we're starting to get there. We're starting to see something that resembles a little bit more of a character. So I thought what we would do now is take a look at rigging the arm, right? And rigging these shapes here. The reason I kind of want to start with these shapes is because the basis of a lot of rigging for the rest of the form can be easily broken down into the arm area, and understanding how to rig an arm leads to understanding how to rig the rest of the character. So we're going to go ahead and start there. Now, one thing I haven't done yet is I haven't started breaking my node view into smaller composite groups. And if you'll remember from the last video, we kind of talked about that a little bit, didn't we? We had these are as bitmap composites, and we talked about changing these over to pass-through composites. Okay, by going to mode, using the drop-down menu, switching it to pass through, and you can see it changes to this this light blue, and the shape changes a little bit. So let's just take a minute, and we're gonna break this guy down into smaller groups. Okay, so I like putting like things together when applicable, right? So we have our hair, we've got the horn. And for the time being, maybe we'll put the ear with the horn because they're going to interact together because they're spatially really near each other, right? And you can see that this horn is in front of the ear because the horn is to the left of our hierarchy and the ear is to the right. And that's how all of Harmony works in terms of its hierarchies. Whatever is towards the left of our assets, that's going to be closest to the camera. If no peg has been set or anything like that. So I can switch them here on my node view, and you can see how they toggle back and forth in space. So all I'm doing is command copy, command paste, right? And let's see. So we've got this guy, we've got our highlights, we've got our pupil, and you can see as I'm dragging them and they're not connected to our as bitmap composite, see how they're disappearing? Okay, as soon as I pull that node strand back down to my main composite, boop, there they are. Okay, they pop back up. And I can even get a little bit more, I guess, articulate with my, or precise with my composites, right? So, for instance, the pupil and my two highlights, which I'm going to pop back on, you can see them right there, they kind of exist as a group, right? I can't imagine too often my highlights needing to do something that the pupil wasn't. So, putting them together on a composite will be a good way for me to organize myself and organize the functions that might be applied to the eye and the pupil itself. Okay, so let's keep rocking and rolling here. We're going to make another composite. And you know what, at this point, I think what I might do is start adding these composites to one overall composite that will eventually become, my head composite, right? So we got our nose, got our mouth, and we've got the head. And I like to try to organize my strands so that I have as little of this kind of spaghetti bowl crossover strand stuff as possible. And sometimes the best way to alleviate that is just to grab the strands and give yourself a little bit extra space. Something like that. Okay, so that worked. And what you can see has happened, instead of having, 30 or 40 of these little strands, you know, all on one composite, you can see I've taken a big chunk of those, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different strands off of this main composite. It starts to become much more manageable. Okay, so let's keep going real quick. We're going to, we'll do our neckline and we'll do our shirt lining. We'll do our torso. Again, you can see I'm trying to keep most of my composites on a line, right? Maybe I'll move him up here. I'll probably have an upper body composite. So I'll put that and my head going here, and then that attaches there. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. Okay. And let's see. We have our upper sleeve. We've got this arm patch, which we haven't actually built yet. We'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, and then we've got our torso. And we're getting to the part that we want to talk about today. And that is rigging the arm. So let's move this up over here by itself. I'm actually going to take the shoulder patch off this composite for a minute. And that leaves us with the sleeve, the upper arm, the lower arm, and the hand. Okay, I'm going to give myself a little bit of room because this guy's going to grow. He's going to grow a little bit. We're going to start adding some things in here. Okay, and so we want to give each of our different assets some space. And for the first time, what we're going to do is we're going to go up into our properties here, or maybe properties is the wrong word, but you know, our different, gosh, what would you? There's a right term and I'm blanking on it. Sorry, guys, but you know, we're going to go up to the top of this window and we have node library selected. Again, if you don't see it, you just hit this little add button, and the drop-down menu will give you all of your options. We want the node library. We're going to pull that out, and let's take a quick moment just to look at our node library. Don't be overwhelmed. Don't go, oh, what is all this? Oh, my mind is melting. Okay, that won't do anybody any good in this situation, okay? Stay calm. Stay calm. We're going to get through all of this, okay? Not each and every one, but I'll explain what we're looking at here. These are all different nodes, okay? All these nodes are basically different functions that Harmony allows you to add on to your animation. What they've done recently in 12 is they have broken these up into little subgroups, which is really helpful, right? You have combined, deformation, favorites. Favorites is great because what you can do is you can go in here and say, man, I really like deformation, this deformation item. I'm just going to drag and drop it into my favorites, and there it is. Okay, so that's great. So if you have and you can remove that node. If you have a group of favorites that you're using all the time, just drop them in there. It's great. I normally add underlay, I add overlay, the auto patch, and all that jazz. Okay. And speaking of auto patch, we're going to want one of those. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to hold on to auto patch. You're going to drag it into your node view. You're going to drag your cutter into your node view, and you're going to drag line art into your node view. Okay. Now, say you can't find it. Say you're like, oh, where? Look, I can't seem to find what it is I'm looking for. And let's say that we are looking for the cutter. All you're going to do is go into this search window here, and you're going to hit cutter. Bada bing, bada boom. There it is. Okay. Second time I got to say bada bing, bada boom in this tutorial already. We're really cooking with gas. Okay. Auto patch. There it is. Okay. And so they have a really nice new search tool that lets you find your way around here easily. So that's intro to the node library. Quick and dirty. Okay, I X'd out of it, so I'm going to give myself, nope, I don't want the node view. I want a node library. There we go, just in case. And now I'm going to be working for the moment with a combination of these three nodes, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them down here. I'm going to rearrange them a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disable by clicking on the torso over here to my left. You can see I hit on the torso. I'm going to disable that by hitting D. Doesn't seem to want to let me do. Do I have something? What's up? So if that doesn't work, then what I can do is I can just select that line, hit D, and there we go. Disables, okay? I did that in my node library. So what I want to focus on right now is my arm. So that's all that I'm going to bring up so that we don't get confused as to where I am. I'm just selecting and hitting D. And you see, when you have everything in this nice, neat line, notice how quick and easy that is for me to disable everything. And then I can select it again, hit A, boom, there it is. Hit D, oh, it's gone, okay? So that's a really nice trick to know when you're trying to get through things quickly. Okay, I'm also disabling the sleeve because we don't have to worry about that right now. Okay, deep breath, everybody. Take a moment. Think about something else. Think about what you got to do this afternoon. Think about a funny joke you heard, something. Take a moment, breather, quick. Okay, we're good? Good. Okay, let's focus back in, and we are going to rig this arm up. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to start with our line art and auto patch node. Okay? Those two guys right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them, copy, paste, and I'm going to line them up underneath each of my drawing assets. And I'm going to make this window a little bit larger. Whoop! Make this window a little bit larger so that we can really see what we are doing here. Nice. Okay. Now I'm going to unconnect, and they disappear. They disappear completely because they are no longer connected to my composite. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull a node strand from each of my drawing assets, and I'm going to connect them each to my line art and my auto patch. Super cool. Okay, but I still can't see anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my auto patch. I'm going to start pulling that auto patch down to the composite. And now you notice what I can see is the color art layer of everything, but I'm not seeing the line art layer of everything. Why is that? Because the line art is contained to this this node, right? It's existing within there, right? So it's not dragged to the composite, so I'm not going to see it on my stage. But eventually, I'm going to want to see it on my stage. How do I get that? And remember, the ultimate goal is to make sure that we have a nice, clean contour line all the way around the exterior of our form and nothing happening on the inside that will make this not look like an arm, a finished arm. So that's our end goal, and we're going to try to get some nice line work going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cutter, right, and I'm actually going to prep this a little bit. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it once, twice, 3 times. So ultimately, I'm going to end up with 4 cutters in this situation. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start setting up my first cutter, and we're going to take the line art, and we're going to connect that to the right side. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see that. The right side, okay? And why I'm doing that is because whatever is getting cut is always going to go into the right side of the cutter. And whatever's doing the cutting is going to go into the left side, okay? Right side getting cut, left side cutting. Right side getting cut, right side getting cut, right side getting cut. Will the left side get cut? No. It's whatever goes into the right side gets cut, okay? And the left side does the cutting. Left side does the cutting. Left does the cutting. Does the left side get cut? No, it's what does the cutting, okay? A little repetition, try to get that in early, okay? So, line art, that's what we want getting cut. We're going to bring that down to our composite. And you can see that it's an entire shape right now, and we don't want that. We've already said we don't want that. We don't want that inner bit to be seen, okay? So, what is it exactly that we want to get cut? It's that inner bit. And what is it exactly that is going to cut that inner bit? Well, it's the color art of the lower arm. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the auto patch over to the left. We're going to let go. boom! Whoa, where'd it go? It's getting cut, okay? And that's exactly what we want. So anywhere that you see the color art of the lower arm, it's going, and anytime it interacts with the upper arm, it's going to cut that exterior line work, okay? And now what we're going to do is we'll do the same thing for the lower arm. This one gets a little tricky because we're going to cut it twice. We're going to cut it by the auto patch of the upper arm, and we're going to cut it by the auto patch of the lower arm. Okay, that's because if I bring this all the way down and it's, you see, now we can see the entire geometry. Okay, you see how it interacts both with the upper arm and with the lower arm. Okay, so we're going to have to cut it twice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go line art to the right side because the right side is what is getting cut. We're going to drag the cutter to the right side of the next cutter. Why? Because it's the right side that's getting cut. And we're going to pull that in front of our auto patch, okay? And we're simply going to drag from the auto patch. I'm sorry, I said we're going to drag that to the auto patch. What I meant is we're going to drag that to the composite. So forget that last little bit. Anyways, we're going to drag the auto patch doop, 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 to the left. Nice clean shape. I'm digging it. Okay, and then from the hand, doop, 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 doop. Okay, cool. We're getting cut twice. I like it. I dig it. And now all we have left to do, super simple, is we're going to do the hand. Okay, so line art going to the right because the right gets cut, and then we'll bring that down to the composite. Okay, real quick, you'll notice all of my line art cutting has taken place in front of the auto patches. That color layer you're going to want to put all the way to the back, all the way to the bottom to make sure it doesn't interfere with any of our line art. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to boop, 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 boop. Lower arms auto patch cuts the hand. And look at that. We got this nice, beautiful shape. Now, you're going to probably say to me two things. First thing, Alex, I don't want this guy to have polka dots up and down his arm. Don't worry about that. We're going to take care of that a little bit later. Once we set up our pegs and we have the rotation points, we'll come back and we will take those bad boys out. Might not be a bad idea. We'll just, in this video, we'll go ahead and set up pegs so that you can kind of see how the arm works and moves. Okay. The other thing you might say is, Alex, wait, what do I do about this little line here? What's going on with that hand? I don't want that. I want that to come all this beautiful line went all the way down here. I want to see that. What do I do if I have the auto patch? And to that I will say, good question, my friend. Good question. Okay, so for that, what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a little bit more space, and we're going to visit our node library again. Okay? And in my favorites, I have the overlay layer. Now, you might remember if you were watching the very beginning of the very first video, you might remember that one of the things that I had us do was go into our preferences. I think it's got cropped off in this video, but right above your stage where you have File, Edit, you also have Harmony Premium. You're going to go into your preferences and it says Enable, Overlay, and Underlay. And that is this layer right here and that layer right there, Overlay and Underlay. You can see them kind of flipping between these on my stage. You can see them there, okay? They can be very, very useful. So I'm going to add in an overlay node. And I'm going to go doop. I'm going to add that. And then I'm going to find where the line art, let's see, my line art on my lower arm is connected right here. And I want this overlay layer to go in front of that. So ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. Look at that. Nice. Okay. Alex, that didn't change anything. It looks exactly the same. And you would be right. Very astute. Very observant. Good job. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to take our selection tool. Okay. We're going to go to our line art layer. We're going to select that line. See how far that line went into the palm and it's getting cut off by our auto patch? Yeah, so what we're doing is we're just going to copy that line. We're just going to copy it, okay? We're going to go to our overlay layer. And if I turn on current drawing on top, you can see there's nothing in this overlay layer. But as soon as I paste it, there it is, okay? And if I turn it off, voila, we've got the line now that I pasted it uninterrupted. And because it's not getting cut by anything, that guy's always going to be there, okay? That guy's always going to be visible. So that's kind of awesome. And that's kind of how you rig the arm, right, from underneath. We're gonna, let's see, we're gonna put our sleeve back on. I'm digging it, okay. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna select the sleeve layer, and we're gonna go Command. Okay, well, something about this screen capture software I'm noticing is I can't use my normal shortcut for adding a peg, because it's trying to take some kind of screen grab photo. So I apologize for that. But you can easily go insert You can do it a couple of ways. First, let's see. You can go insert peg, and there you go. The little green guy is going to show up like that. It's a little bit of a pain not having this shortcut because normally it just adds it beautifully right up atop. So give me 1 second as I insert a couple of pegs on the arms, and then in the next video I will go ahead and try to have a solution to this screen software and maybe turn off whatever that shortcut is. Okay, so anyways, I added a bunch of pegs, and you can see one of the nice things about Harmony is it copies the name of the drawing asset that it's a peg for really nicely. And what I'm going to do is, just like my drawing assets and just like my nodes, I'm going to try to keep everything in a nice organized line so that if I have to enable and disable anything for any given reason, I can do that easily. So let's start with the sleeve. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have that selected, right? And I go up to my top menu bar, and I have my advanced animation tools. I'm going to click on rotate, and you can see that this little yellow circle with the blue dot appears. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that blue dot, and I'm going to put it right on that little marker indicator I gave myself. Okay, one quick note, and that sets the peg, right? That'll set the peg for anytime you need to move this drawing. One quick note is you really want to use that advanced animation tool to set your pegs. There are other tools where you'll see the peg indicator, and for whatever reason within Harmony, the rotation peg is the one that permanently sets your peg. So just remember, use the rotation one. Use the rotation one. Okay, so set the peg for my sleeve, and I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn the drawing layer itself off so that I can find the pegs for the other assets. So there's my marker there. I'm going to go in. Let's make sure I get that kind of nice and even. Okay, good. Lower arm. Good. Hand. Good. Okay, so now that I have those guys set, what I can do is I can select my line art layer, grab these markers, and delete out those indicators, and it's not a problem because I have already set my pegs, and I really won't have to do much in terms of moving those bad boys again. Okay, and I can turn back on my sleeve, and I can delete that bad boy if I can grab it for some reason. Oh, I'm still selected to my hand. Odd. Okay, there we go. Cool. Now all I need to do is parent my pegs to each other by grabbing the node strands and pulling them into place. And now if I want to move my arm, super cool. If I want to move just this part of the arm, super cool. And there we go. Very cool. and the hand. Now, let's talk real quick, and we'll finish up the arm with this. Oops. And that is, how do I add in folds? How do I get an effect where if I turn this arm, what if I want a little bit of overlap there, overlap of the form? So what do I do? What if when I turn that hand, I want a little overlap? The answer is simple, guys. The answer is really simple. What you're going to do is you're going to do exactly what we did with the hand. Okay, you're just going to grab an overlay layer. You're going to copy paste it. Bring that into place. Boom. Maybe give yourself a little bit more room. Obviously, you can give yourself even more than that if you'd like. Try to get that to connect. Good. Okay, I'm going to select the line art of my lower arm. There we go. Copy. I'm going to paste that to my overlay layer. Which it doesn't seem to really want me to do, but we'll give it another shot. Let's do it this way. I'm going to look at whatever's currently on top. Did I color that wrong? Give me 1 sec, guys. I don't think I did that wrong. Okay. So why won't you let me? I'm going to grab my line work. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go to my overlay layer. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Wah, wah. Okay, so we're going to cut this guy. We're going to cut this guy. And now if I go, it's doing this weird thing on me today where this should all disappear because that's not all existing on my overlay layer. And it should just do current drawing on top. Weird. So I must have some weird setting. Sorry about that. Anyways, not that it matters because as I go and I fold, you can see that I start to get that fold. That's kind of awkward though, but let's turn this off real quick. Let's turn that sleeve layer off. And if I didn't have the sleeve, you can see that I get that nice fold and bend. But I do have the sleeve, so let's see what we can do about that. You know what we do about that? I made a mistake. With my overlay layer, see how I put that in front of everything? Okay, and that's why it's coming in front, okay? But let's leave it like that for a second. Here's my sleeve layer. If I just loop that behind, there we go, disappears, and I'm not gonna have that issue, okay? Yeah, now it's correct on my hierarchy. Great, okay? And I can do the same thing for the hand if I want, right? And I can, I have the overlay layer, so I can go ahead and add some striping right there. Not striping, line work right there if I want to, right? I have my overlay layer. What I can do is I can select the line art here. I can copy it. I can paste it on my overlay. And then maybe I'll cut out all of that. Oop, I wanted to say that part, right? Okay, so now it looks almost exactly like it did before, except I can kind of adjust it and get some nice overlapping action happening there. Okay, very cool. Okay, guys, that's the arm. If I turn everything back on real quick, we'll go A, and we'll go A. We'll pause the video at this section just because it's a good breaking point. I wanted you guys to know how to do the arm and the overlay layer, the auto patch, the cutter, the line art, all of those, how they work together. Because like I said at the beginning of the video, it's really going to come into play as we rig the rest of this guy. So we'll pause it there, and I hope you guys catch the next video. It's the weekend right now, so have a good rest of your weekend. Or whenever you're watching this, have a good rest to the whatever it is you're doing. All right, see you guys soon. Bye.